We want to talk a little bit about what your human resource person is responsible for. They should be contacting the employee as soon as they can after you've spoken with the employee. After all, you've told the employee you're going to get a call. The human resource person should be contacting the employee, getting all the information, if they have doctor's reports or something like that, verifying the dates of the test, letting the employee know that you're going to be sending them a request form, and we have those available for you. And they're going to request EPSL. And what is that? That's the Emergency Paid Sick Leave from the federal bill that was passed. An employee can receive up to 80 hours of sick pay through this federal program. So you need the request filled out by the employee so they can take part in that benefit. You also want to explain to them any other benefits that they may have some questions about. Once you get that back, you want to approve it and send the employee a copy back. You also need to process payroll information for this special pay. You want to code it differently. However you code it is up to you, just so that your payroll department and your financial officer know what the coding is. And you would code up to 80 hours of this special sick pay on your payroll system when you pay the employee their sick pay benefits. There's a lot of record keeping. The employee's information, their file should be confidential, should be in a locked cabinet. It should contain all the information related to this episode, their requests, the approval, etc. You want to also maintain all the payroll information in there, copies of their payroll, how much was paid to them, etc. Because your financial officer is going to need that, because you want to file for tax credit reimbursement from the feds for payment of this special sick pay program. As you can see, there's a lot of paper involved in all of this. That's why I encourage you to please contact your consultant. You call us as many times as you need to. We want to make sure that all this is done properly and everything gets processed as it should. Let's talk about the employees who are close contacts. Remember, the employee gave you a list of their names. You're going to have to talk with each of these contacts and verify that they did have close contact with the employee. You could do that yourself. Maybe the managers want to speak to their own employees, but you want to speak with them as soon as possible. Remember, within 6 feet and with them 10 minutes or longer, and within 14 days prior to the positive test. So you're going to go back 2 weeks. So you want to think about 2 weeks. You want to let this contact know what's going on, that we have an infected employee and they have told you that you've had close contact with them. And as a result of that, they have to be quarantined for 14 days. Sometimes you'll get a little pushback on that. We've had it happen. What do you mean? I didn't have close contact with her. No way. Because there's no way they want to stay home for 14 days. So you might have to do some inquiry about it. Go back and verify with the employee if this person gets really obstinate about it, because you've got to be sure that you've taken care of all the close contacts in the office or in your facility with this situation. After you have clarified and verified that they are close contacts, there's paperwork for them that you complete as well. You might want to advise the close contact to see their doctor for assistance in testing questions. They always ask about testing and things like that, and I would refer them to their doctors. You want to discuss the confidentiality and the sensitivity too. You know, this information is not something that should be talked about and revealed to people in the office. I'd like to warn you about something that happened. We were talking to a close contact, and the close contact was listening to us, and all of a sudden he said, I already know all about this. I knew you were going to bring me in here. And we said, how'd you know that? Well, the customer service employee after they found out they were tested positive, got on the phone and called 5 people that they are close friends with at the office and told them all about it. So it's out there and everybody knows about it. Great. It's another situation you might have to deal with. It happens. The infected employee didn't realize at the time they were supposed to be. It happens and you deal with it. I'd like to remind you that that the sick pay program, the emergency sick pay program, these close contacts could be eligible for it too if they were advised by a healthcare provider to self-quarantine or they have symptoms and they're seeking medical diagnosis. Otherwise, they may not qualify for this. It's time to talk to your managers and supervisors. You need to inform them about the situation and what's going on. Remind them again about the confidentiality. If it's a situation where you found out everybody in the office already knows about it, you still want to be as confidential as possible. You don't want it to be an open discussion. You're not going to be talking to everybody about the person's symptoms and all that sorts of stuff. I mean, that's all private information. It's not to be shared. You want to discuss the stay-at-home requirements that is going to be imposed on these employees. And the managers and supervisors, the lead people, they're going to have to start preparing as to how they're going to cover for these workers that are out. I've got a current situation going on where I've got 6 employees that we currently know of who aren't going to be at work for 14 contacts. The managers are a very unhappy bunch. What are we going to do about this? So all of this is kind of like a big ball that starts rolling and just starts, and it's got tentacles on it and it seems to go out everywhere. So this is a serious situation for some companies, especially if you're a small company. And what are you going to do to cover all these jobs? You want to determine who's going to talk with the close contacts, because sometimes the managers want to talk to their own employees about this. You want to prepare an announcement for your senior leader. It's really important that whoever the senior person is at your company, whether it's the business owner or the CEO, that the announcement comes from them to the employees. It puts emphasis on how important this is, and the senior leader's words hopefully will ring into their minds that, hey, this is serious stuff and we better abide by what's going on here as far as health and safety. If no one knows about the situation, some verbiage like someone in our workplace has tested positive for COVID-19 and is self-quarantining. And we do have some close contacts, some folks in the office that have been close with this person, and they have also left the workplace as well. You also want to discuss with your management staff, they need to be understanding through all of this. They need to ask questions when they've got situations going on. They need to provide support to their teams. They're going to get a variety of reactions from employees from this, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Sometimes concerns are addressed from their employees, and those are situations where they need to come to the senior leader or to human resources and get some advice about. And sometimes they have to evaluate accommodations. Accommodations, what could that be? It could be something as simple as an employee saying, you know what, I don't feel comfortable sitting in my workstation. You know, 2 of those, I know who they are, and 2 of those close contacts, they were right near me. I don't, you know, I'm really nervous about that. Can't you move my workstation? It's been asked before. If you can do it, if you can accommodate, however you can do it, however you can make that employee feel comfortable, that's the most important thing. Be visible, be vigilant, and be proactive. When you hear the news, don't run to your office, shut the door, lock it, and cry. That's not what can be done. You've got to be out there visible with your employees. You've got to be proactive when you see something going on, something needs attention, be there and be proactive.